So now let us see the different parts of the skeleton. I told you that skeleton is the total framework of our body. It's a complete framework. The skeleton can be divided into different parts depending upon their function, right? So let us come from the top part of the skeleton, that is the skull. Skull is the bony structure that gives shape and support to our head. We have all the important sense organs and other important organs, the major organs like brain are there in the head, right? So these are all protected by the skull. Skull gives protection to the brain. So the brain is covered by hard bony case called as skull, and even our eyeballs are located in the orbits. That means the spaces in the skull, so into the spaces our eyeballs are protected. The part of the eye that you see out is only a 10 to 20% of it. Rest of the eye is located, embedded in the eye socket. Right. So like this, these organs, even our ears, these are the external ears. But we have the important part of the ear, the middle ear and inner ear, they are completely protected by the skull. So it plays a major function in the protection of soft internal organs, that is the skull. It is the topmost part. So just below the skull, you find a bone extending from the skull to your waist. So it is running on your back. It is starting at the bottom of your skull and running till the end of your waist. That bone is called as backbone. That is the backbone, right? So this is the skull. So the backbone, it gives strength to your body so that you can stand erect. Otherwise, it is not possible to stand erect without the backbone. The backbone is flexible and it is allowing you to bend sideways. You can bend forward, you can bend backward, you can twist your body, you can turn back. It's all possible because of the backbone. And not only that, the backbone is like a hollow pipe in which it is protecting the spinal cord. Backbone is protecting spinal cord. So spinal cord is continuation to the brain. Brain and spinal cord together, they make up the central nervous system. The nervous system is composed of brain and spinal cord. Both are protected by the skull and backbone. The next one is rib cage. This is the rib cage. So if you breathe hard, take a deep breath and just put your fingers on your chest. You can feel some cage, some hard bony structure, bony cage, that is the rib cage. The major function of this rib cage is to protect your internal organs, the heart, liver and lungs. These organs are protected by the rib cage because they are very soft and delicate. They cannot withstand the shock. They cannot withstand the blow. If somebody hits you hard, then your rib cage is protecting. Otherwise, the blow may be hitting your heart or lungs, which is very dangerous. So in that way, the protection is obtained by the rib cage. So in the internal organs like heart, lungs and liver are protected by the rib cage. So next, hands and legs. We can find the hand and leg bones. Already we have discussed about the joints here. See, you can see the hand bones. The upper hand bone is single. The lower hand, the lower part of the hand has got two bones. And at the bottom, you have fingers. Each of your finger will be having so many bones. Just you can press and you can bend your fingers and you can count how many bones you have in your hand. You have number of bones, right? So even the same for both the hands and even the same for the legs. Legs also, they have, see the upper legs, they have a long strong bone, single bone. Lower leg has got two bones side by side. Here also. And at the end, your feet also consist of so many bones. Your toes also consist of so many bones. Your fingers also consist of so many bones. Just you can feel them and count them. So these are the different bones in the hands and legs. How these bones help us? These bones, they help us to protect, to defend. Somebody is falling on you, somebody is hitting you, you can defend. Something is falling on you, you can defend. You are falling on the ground. You can defend by keeping your hands down on the floor, so that you can defend. You can see that you doesn't fall down. You are slipping, just you can catch hold of some support to stand, to run, to hit, to break something, to write something, to do something, to play something. You need hands and legs. That means you need the help of hand and leg bones. The next one is pelvic bones. So this is called as pelvis, right? So here some organs are protected. Your reproductive organs are protected. Lower part of the stomach is protected by the pelvis. So pelvis is the part which helps you to sit. You can sit on some support, that is because of the pelvis, right? So you can stand, that is because of the pelvis. So this is the bone which is giving support at the lower part of your body, right? So these are the different parts of the skeleton. What are they? Skull, rib cage, backbone, hands and legs, and pelvic bones. So let us see how the skeleton helps in the movement of our body. So skeleton alone cannot do this. We know that the skeleton is made up of bones. So bone is a kind of a hard material that make up the skeleton. Some parts of our skeleton are also made up of other materials like cartilage. So cartilage is a flexible bone. It's not as hard as the bone. Just you feel your hand, just you feel your hand bone, just feel your finger bone. It is hard enough that it is made up of bone. Whereas if you see that the hard structure of your external ear, you can press it and you can bend it, and if you leave that, it regains its original shape, that it has got the elasticity and it is flexible. It's not breaking up. But if you try to bend your hand bone, it breaks because it is rigid. But whereas here, this is flexible. Even the tip of your nose has got a separation which is made up of cartilage. So the flexible bone is called as cartilage. Bone and cartilage together make up the skeletal system, right? In the newborn babies, the bones are not hard enough. Some of the bones are still made up of cartilage, but as they grow up to infants and to kids, the cartilage, it hardens up and the bone becomes strong, right? So cartilage is the soft bone. Some of the fishes, they have only the skeleton made out of cartilage, not with bone. So that is about the bone and cartilage. Bone and cartilage cannot produce movements in your body. For example, you made a skeleton or a toy with some papers or sticks. You see that in the puppet show. In the puppet show, the toy is made and the toy hands and legs are tied to strings. The strings are given to some other person. So when a string is pulled, the hand is lifted. When a string is kept down, the hand is lifted down, kept down. That means you can observe that in the puppet show, they operate the toy with the help of strings. When a string is moved, the toy moves. It performs some action. In the same way, our skeleton is also connected with some muscles. When a muscle is contracted, either contracted or relaxed, then you can perform a task. Right. So here, the muscles, they are connected to the bones. The contraction and relaxation of muscles, it performs the task. It helps in the movement. How they are connected, with what they are connected. So the muscles are connected to the bone. I am drawing it here, the hand bone. I told you the lower hand, it has got two bones, and the upper hand, it has got the single bone. So here is your hand. So now let's see here, this is one muscle, this is one muscle. Two muscles, the muscles of your hand. The muscles are connected to the bones by tendon. So this is a material which is binding the muscle to your bone, tendons. So here we have a pair of muscles. To perform any action, that means to produce a movement, you need to have a pair of muscles. See in your hand, to open and close your hand, you need to have two muscles working, one here, one here. The uppermost muscle is called as biceps and this is called as triceps. See, the muscles, they work in pairs, they work opposite to each other. This muscle is contracting, I am lifting my hand. This muscle is contracting in the sense this muscle is expanding. One muscle is relaxing, at the same time the other muscle contracts. So, by that you can perform an action. If you wanted to produce a movement, one muscle should contract. At the same time, the opposite muscle should relax. So, this kind of action helps to produce movements. So, the muscles, they work in pairs. The muscles are connected to the bones by a material called as tendons. Then what is this ligament? A bone is connected to another bone by ligament. Ligament is the cementing material that joins a bone to another bone. Tendon is the cementing material, it joins the bone to the muscles. So, muscles, they are the special tissues, they help in contraction and relaxation. So, by that they enable us to produce movements. And you know, the cartilage and bone, they form the framework. So, because of all these materials, you have a specific shape, you have a specific form, you have a specific strength, you can perform the task like you can stand, you can run, you can jump, you can dance, you can do all the physical activity. It's all because of all these different items. So, now we have seen how the movements are possible in case of humans. Our body is a very complex and we have very complex system, like we have bones, that is the skeleton, muscles attached to the bones and tendons, ligaments, and all these things enable us to have a good coordinated movement to perform various tasks. Now, let us see in the smaller forms, in the other animals, the smaller animals, what I mean, because in almost all the mammals the same kind of thing what we have, just like that they do have the skeleton, muscles and all. But whereas if you look at the other forms of animals, what sort of organs they have for the movement and how they achieve the movement, what kind of movement they show. Let's see. So, this we call it as a gait of animals. Here we begin with the earthworm. You know the earthworm, it is found in the wet soil. Especially you see that they are coming out of the holes in the rainy season. So, have you ever observed the earthworm so closely? So, earthworm is a soft jelly-like organism, right, and it is very soft because it does not have any bones. So, you have to notice the point that there are no bones. So, no bones, it has only got muscles and bristles. What is that? Muscles and bristles. So, where are the muscles? Muscles are there in its body. Where are the bristles? Bristles they have under the surface of their body. So, with the help of these muscles and bristles, they make the movement. How does an earthworm move? So, earthworm, it pushes its body forward and by the time it keeps hold of the soil with its rear portion. So, if this is the earthworm, the front part is pushing, here the back part, it will catch hold in the soil with the help of bristles. Once it pushes the body forward, here it uses the bristles to catch hold of the soil. Now, the front part of the earthworm is holding the soil, it releases the back part and it will contract the back part. So, the back part is dragged to front. Again it will push the front part. It holds the soil and releases the back part, pushes the back part forward. In this way, the earthworm, it moves forward. Earthworms, they eat the soil, they feed on the decaying soil and they convert the soil into a manure. So, that is the reason earthworms are the friends of farmers. They are used to produce the vermicompost. Vermicompost is a nutritious substance that helps in the plant growth and which is organic, right. So, let us go to the next one, snail. So, we see a snail, as the snail is having a shell on its body, actually it is not the skeleton, it does not help in the movement, right. It is only for protection, not for the movement. And if you keep it there, you can see that snail coming out of that. The snail is a very slippery, very smooth jelly-like organism. The snail, it has got a head-like structure and it has got one particular part, this is called as a foot of the snail. So, the foot of the snail, it has got some kind of sucker kind of thing. When it is kept in some glass plate and you can observe that it sticks to the surface. And at the same time, it produces some wave kind of motion, wave. So this wave kind of motion enables the snail to slowly move on the surface. It moves very slowly. It's because of the wavy motion in the foot of the snail. Then next, look at the cockroach. Cockroaches we know that we find in our houses. Cockroaches, do they have the skeleton? Yes, they have the skeleton, but not like the one which we have. Cockroaches, they have the skeleton outside their body. We have skeleton inside our body, right? They have skeleton outside their body. That is called as exoskeleton. Skeleton outside the body, right? So they have joints which are not similar to the joints in mammals. That is the different. They have legs, jointed legs. That is why they come under the arthropoda. They are called as arthropods. It's because they have the joints and the skeleton outside their body. Even they have muscles and they have wings. Cockroaches, they can fly, they can run, they can jump with the help of these exoskeleton and muscles. So in cockroaches we find the exoskeleton. Okay. And they have jointed legs. And even they have muscles inside their bodies. They have very loose tissues. We cannot completely call them as muscles. Some tissues. That's all. Instead of muscles, you can call them as tissues. So that is the cockroach. Now let us look at the birds. Birds, they have a good internal skeletal system. They have an endoskeleton just like mammals. So in their skeleton, their bones are hollow. They have hollow bones. So by that their bodies are light. Hollow bones. So by that their bodies are very light. So many of the birds, they can fly. The flight is possible because of the light bones. They are streamlined. They have streamlined body. You see the beak and head of the bird. It is streamlined. They can cut the friction of the air and they can fly. And their forelimbs, they are modified to wings. So the bones in the forelimbs are modified to wings. They are connected to the breastbone. Their rib cage is modified into breastbone, which can hold the muscles that help in the flight. Their hind limbs, their legs they are developed in such a way so by that the bird can stand, it can walk or run, it can perch for the food. So that is, they help in walking. Strong back legs. The front limbs are modified to wings for the flight. Of course, even though certain birds, they have the wings, they cannot fly high. Depends upon their body weight and their habitat, their feeding habits. Certain birds, they can fly with the help of the wings, right? So that kind of movement is found in birds. Now let's see the body, let's see the movement in fishes. Fishes, see that they also have a streamlined body. That they means they have a snout and their body is like this. So they can cut the friction of the water, so by that they can easily move. But let us see the movement of the fish. Fishes, they swim with the help of fins, but with the help of their head and tail, they make the jerky movement. So if this is the fish, if the fish head is turning this direction and it is moving forward, so in the opposite direction its tail moves. And when the head turns to the opposite, the tail turns to the another direction. So by that they will give a jerky forward movement. So in this way they achieve the jerky forward motion, and with the help of the tail it gives that jerking, pushing the water left, right, left, right. So once the tail is to the left, the head turns towards the right. The head turns towards the left, then the tail turns towards the right. So in this way it makes a forward motion. So finally we see that snake, how a snake slithers. We know that the snake is got a very long body, elongated body trunk, and it has got backbone also. You can see the spinal cord of the snake extending. The snake backbone is connected to the muscles and skin. So the snake, it produces a loop-like motion. So this loop-like motion and the scales below its body help the snake to move further. So it gives a loop-like, wave-like motion. So the loop is extended from, it starts at this point and the loop is extended till here, the wave. So in such a way, it slowly slithers on the ground. Of course, because of the very rapid movement, sometimes it can move very fast, not only slow. So this is how a snake slithers, right? So anyway, whatsoever the kind of movement that we observe here, the main thing that we have to notice, it is all because of the body structure and the components like muscles and bones. Of course, here we have seen that there are many organisms that are able to move without a bony structure, without the skeleton. Just with the help of muscles, they are able to make the movement, right? But whereas in case of mammals, higher animals and human beings, we have the skeleton system that is connected to the muscles, packed up with the muscles. So by that we can perform the motion, the movement and achieve so many tasks.